Athletic dads, welcome to the channel. Today we are going through exactly what an athletic dad training session looks like. I'm going to talk you through every exercise, why the exercise is there, how many sets and reps we're doing of each exercise, every superset, why specifically we're choosing those rep ranges, what I'm thinking when I'm programming, why we do the things in the order that we do it. All of that is going to be packed into this video. So we're going to warm up with our lunge iso, our high plank iso, and our medicine ball slam. We're going to take that into a heel elevated back squat, an incline dumbbell press, and a max vertical jump. And then our last block is going to be single leg RDLs, triceps, and sit-ups. Thanks for watching the video. Let's get right into it. All right, so block one is always going to include isometric variations. A lot of people feel issues with their knees and hips and shoulders and elbows and don't necessarily know exactly what to do with it when they get into their training. So this is the best way. Then this is stolen from the 4-stage rehab process, but this is the best way to train tissues and tendons and prepare them for the demands of training. So all of our isos are going to match what the main strength exercises that we are doing. The positions are going to match each time, so we're prepping the tissues and tendons that we need for our main strength movement, so the exercises that we're going to push the heaviest. By the time we get there, those specific muscles are already going to be nice and warmed up, so that's the approach. Remember, just because something hurts and bothers you doesn't mean you're injured. It just means that muscle needs some attention. So when knees are bugging you, if you just stay away from training anything that involves your knees are just going to hurt for forever because you're never paying any specific attention to those muscles. A lot of times we're not injured, we're just weak. So if we get stronger, those injuries will go away. All right, so because we're squatting, we hit those split squat isos, and because we are benching, we're going to get into our high plank isos next. And here I'm just thinking top of a push-up position, and I want to be real active through my upper body. So we don't want our elbows to bend and our chest and our head to kind of drop. We want to drive through the ground, push yourself away, get as far away from the ground as you can. Much different hold when we're active like this as opposed to if we just kind of let everything sink in. And again, because we're trying to lift a lot of weight, we want to make sure that we are prepped for that first. So pushing away from the ground is going to give us that same action as it will when we start pushing weight away from us. All right. Med ball slams just to get our heart rate up a little bit, get our body moving a little faster, get our nervous system prepared for training. These 3 exercises, back to back to back, 2 to 3 total sets each. I'm gonna take 1 set with an empty bar and start warming up my main strength exercises. So we always have 2. We always select 2 compound movements, 1 for the upper body, 1 for the lower body, and we bounce back and forth and superset those 2 exercises. So today we've got barbell heel elevated back squat and dumbbell press. So the back squat, obviously going to fatigue my lower body. And then when I move into the bench press, that'll give me enough time to rest my lower body between the exercises, but also keeps me moving efficiently through the weight room because now I'm training the upper body, which is going to have a break when I go back to the squat. So we're going to bounce back and forth between these 2. And then here's where we introduce our jump variation. So my main horizontal pressing movement in all of my programs is an incline press. I think it's way more beneficial than the flat press, whether it be dumbbells or barbells. And I feel like it just checks more boxes and is more efficient overall as a movement when it comes to horizontal pressing strength and the aesthetics that you get from building muscle in your chest and pecs. Obviously, it's necessary if your sport is bench pressing, but I assume if you're a power lifter, you're probably not watching this channel anyway. Every rep, I'm trying to spend just a second at the bottom, feel a big stretch in the chest. Another great way to make it more efficient of a movement if you don't have super heavy dumbbells. Let that stay down there a little longer. Feel the stretch through the pec and shoulder. Press from there. That's obviously the athletic piece in the training for the day. As I'm warming up the squat and the press, I'm just throwing a couple of 50%, 60%, 80% jumps in. So then when we get into the actual working sets of the superset, these are closer to 90 to 100%. I will always track jumps if I have the opportunity to, so I use the OVR vertical jump device. If you have a jump mat around, use that, use this. Or I don't mind box jumps, is because you can progress and be intentional about the height in which you go to the box. So if that's what you have for your maximum vertical jumping, go ahead and use that. Remember, the whole idea around elevating your heels for a bilateral squat variation is the ability to stay taller through your torso, so the stress goes directly to your knees and directly to your quads. We need stress to be able to change the muscle and change the tissue. And if that's where we have pain, we need to make sure that we're sending those signals directly to our quads and our knees, saying, hey, we need blood flow here. We need to take care of this. That's why range of motion is so important, because it's great for longevity, because it's gonna keep you healthy, because it's gonna keep you strong in all those deep end ranges where generally we start to feel pain as we lose strength in those areas. So I'm trying to stay as tall as I can on the squat. Also, control the descent on the way down and drive out of the bottom. Just a little pause at the bottom of that stretch position makes such a huge difference and makes the degree of difficulty of the exercise with the lower weight that much harder. I will rarely program rest times. I want people to get into the next exercise as quickly as they can where they feel recovered from the previous exercise. So if I say 90 seconds and it's early on in a set, you don't need the full 90 seconds, then I'm making the training longer for you if I prescribe those rests. And because time is so precious, we want to make sure to do as much as we can to be able to speed up this entire process. Obviously, while still getting the things out of it that we want. All right, final triple here at 315. If you are newer to training, you just want your final set or two to be challenging enough to where it feels like it can change you. So if you finish your set, your top set, and you're not breathing hard, you feel like you had 5, 10 reps left in the tank, you need to go heavier for your final set. If you finish it and you feel like you maybe had 2 reps left, that's where you're gonna wanna cut it off. So we've got our final set here, then we've got our last set of the incline press, and then we have our last set of jumps, and it's just been 5 total sets on the squat, progressing each time. And then on the incline press, we were going up basically until we got to the top of the weight of the dumbbells, and then now the last 3 sets we've just tried to hit is basically within 2 reps of failure. So we'll get 1 more set of those that we'll see after the set of this, and then go into our final block. Last set of our incline press here. Again, standard stays the same from basically the first working set all the way till the final set. So I'm not gonna cheat the movement just to get a couple more reps. I'm just gonna stay as clean as I can to the movement. As soon as that position starts breaking down, that's when I know it's time to cut that set off. And the last block is where we're gonna sneak in our bodybuilder style training. We're gonna hit shoulders, arms, calves, core, adductor, abductors, all those little muscles, but we're going to train them for size and aesthetics. So we've got a tricep push down, either banded or I got this new cable machine, which is dope. So I'm gonna do it on here. We have a core exercise, we have a med ball straight leg sit up, and then we've got a single leg RDL. And then we basically just have 3 sets all the way through that. I'm gonna go as close to failure as possible on the tricep extensions, just to have a crazy pump. And then we'll go 8 each side on the single leg RDL, and then we're gonna go 15 on the straight leg sit-ups. Here I'm just trying to use the momentum from my upper body to move as fast as I can. Not only training the core, but I'm trying to train the spine to move quickly and dynamically. So I like this med ball being here to help give me some intent behind the speed in which I sit up with it. All I'm thinking here, knee slightly bent. I'm taking opposite index finger to big toe to keep my hips forward. And then I'm trying to be straight from my heel to the back of my head. Big stretch of the hamstring at the bottom there. And that is a full training session following the Athletic Dad training philosophies. All of my programs are built in the same style. This is the template that I've been able to have success with over 15 years of training in person. So whether you train 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, whether you have access to a full gym or just dumbbells only, or even body weight or a home gym like I do here. If you're interested in training for weight loss, for strength, or body recomposition, I have programs for all of that. So if you're interested in joining the Athletic Dad Collective, the link is below to the website. You can sign up there and I will be in immediate contact with you. But also, if you stayed here for this amount of time, make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Continue to practice gratitude. Tell the people that you love them, and you only got one life. Might as well live it stimulated. We'll see you guys in the next one.